Well, and joining us to help understand the aftermath of the disappointment that was game number three of the NBA Finals is native New Yorker J.R. Gamble, editor of the Shadow League, managing editor of MLBBro.com. And it was supposed to be a wonderful night. You come back home 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden, the vibe of the whole game goes to the left because of an orange fellow
To the
who
right, you
decides,
mean? To the right.
well, okay, to the right, to the left, whatever. Uh, I mean, it went off the rails for sure. But let me ask you this: as a guy who's in the city, right? Who's more culpable for the demise last night amongst the people? Would it be, um, number 47, the commander and thief, or would it be, say, I don't know, the officials, or Dolan, James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks?
It was just weird. I, I'm starting to think that James Dolan gets paid by the loss and
Hmm.
not to win. Like, you know, billionaires are out of my pay grade, so I don't know how they generate $30 million a day, right? Or $50 million a week. I don't know anything about that. But in the case of James Dolan, it seems to me that he has to be getting paid to never win because anybody could have told you. And Stephen A. Smith, who I'm like everybody else, hot and cold with, his only saving grace is that he's from Hollis, Queens. So
He
there's
did go
one,
to a HBCU too.
yeah, yeah. And he attended. So I'll never have 100% abandonment for that guy. The Hollis, Queens HBCU connection will always at least have 10% love left for him,
Okay.
regardless, right? But he told you, bad move. Why? This isn't a normal situation
You mean the NBA Finals or?
for the Knicks,
Okay, it's not. It's been almost 3 decades since they were last there. Yes.
okay? And 53 years since they last won. So
Yes.
no one remembers that except people's grandfathers at this point. Just going by the timeline.
Right.
Although some families have very young grandfathers on an average, right? The fans were the fan excitement for the Knicks are what was driving this as well. Fans who had abandoned the Knicks years ago, such as myself, admittedly, were back, feeling good about the team. Dolan was a non-issue for the first time in a long time because we used to blame him for everything. Now that we're winning, he's probably messing stuff up somewhere along the line, but he had been out the way. So to me, it was inevitable that this wasn't going to be 4 games and it wasn't going to be easy because if you hadn't won in 53 years, then most likely we would have to do something like the Red Sox did after losing 86 years without a World Series and come back from an unsurmountable lead or something, right? It has to be whatever the Knicks are going to do, it's got to be amazing. It was never going to be what it looked like. So, yes, what do we do? Let's put a polarizing and divisive figure, regardless of who your president, into the mix. Let's take the attention off the Knicks, the unity of the city, and how when New York is moving together with one energy, there's not a place in the world that can stop it. But that hasn't been the case for a very long time in that city, and that's why you see it crumbling slowly, falling behind the Atlantas and let's just be honest, and other areas where they never should. It never should happen like that. But we're also being cursed because the commander in thief, as you said, not me. I might
I did.
agree. I might agree. I might. owes the devil
He does.
for them 2 terms.
You
He from Queens, New York. We might never win a championship again. Thanks to this guy. And if people think that energy doesn't matter in sports, you just saw
you
what
did.
happened. The NBA had a real opportunity as well now to get this, try to get this series a little bit back, because 4-game sweeps don't make money for
Right.
anybody.
Gotta play at least five. Gotta play at least five. And I kind of thought that would be the case, but the notion that Dolan is that a ornament? And I'm talking about the Knicks, MSG, I guess the Rangers. Is that an ornament to him, or is he really competing?
I think honestly, 99% of billionaires who own teams, it is just an ornament. People assume that because a billionaire bought a team that he's a sports fan. Those are toys like Ferraris, Porsches, Lamborghinis, and most recently, Teslas.
The ones that
So,
aren't blowing up and falling apart from the inside.
yeah, so Dolan doesn't care if the Knicks win or lose. That has been proven a long time ago. So, of course, he's going to say, now's my time to brown nose the president, to brown nose, people on my level. There's only about 1% of the people on earth that could be James Dolan's friend.
Yeah.
People on that stature don't hang with us.
Right.
We could work for them. We might even get a Christmas card to the family from them. Then you really in. That just means you always got at least an 80K job waiting for your average ass, right? Okay.
Right. Keep it a buck. That's what
I'm
we
just
do.
saying. I'm just saying. Everything I say, I'm really, I'm referring to myself
Right.
as I look at this. I'm
Right.
not insulting nobody. If anybody, I'm insulting myself because I'm that 80K average ass person.
J.R. Campbell from the Shadow League and MLBBro.com, dropping the knowledge on us like it's hot. All right, away from that, let's go to the on-court officiating. What a second half that was. And you talk about a change in dynamic, and I've been trying all day to come to the consensus of that was just a bad night. But to me, first Tony Brothers, lead official. Next, Mark Davis, lead official. And the next
Oh,
thing you
yeah?
know,
They were blind.
and
Jeff
they were
Dummy
like,
blind.
yeah. I was like, well, what happened? I mean, I don't want to sound like a Jaundice fan, but
Right.
the disparity in fouls in the second half was one thing,
Oh, bro.
but the Wemby versus Jalen Brunson thing
That
should have
was,
been a flagrant foul, and we'd been hearing all with those calls when they come to the table. See if it rises to the scale of flagrant foul. If that wasn't flagrant, I don't know what was. What say
no,
you?
it's not even that. It was the foul they called on Brunson after that. The flagrant closeout.
Mm.
That's what let me know. NBA up to that bullshit again, Mark.
Is that what it is?
Part of my French. And I truly do part of my French,
Mm-hmm.
when be, get it?
Right.
But man, someone like myself, I'm not going to get mad because I'm not very surprised. We spoke before the final started and privately and on your show about how the referees would really, really influence this series. And my hopes were that they didn't hurt us too much because they're going to protect Wemby. It's probably a better story for them if Wemby wins just because now they can start the new LeBron James stuff. Like they want to get that done as soon as possible because Bron is leaving. You have to have someone else now to inflate his career compare him to the all-time greats, start elevating his status, right? Although I think Wemby has a lot to learn. I think there's a lot about his game that just isn't developed yet. And I think people really overrate him a lot. I think in 5 years, if he's healthy, I think when he bulks up a little bit, right, to refine certain aspects of his game, other than just the height, I think he will really be a dominant force because he's shown flashes, but he could be defended. Cat is a bigger guy. See, Wemby's not a big guy. He's just tall, and people confuse those things a lot. Wemby is not anywhere, does not have anywhere near the strength level of a Jalen Brunson. No, it's like a man against a mouse. If in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
However, he got a foot on him, more than a foot. He has almost a foot and a half on him. And honestly, Mark, we know the refereeing was a little shaky. What the hell is Brunson even doing anywhere around Wembanyama on any play? I don't want him around that man. He's a dirty player. I defended his, but I can't be a hypocrite.
Right.
I defended him when he elbowed Nas Reed. I went on, I said, that's what the NBA needs. They need some toughness. I love it. You know, a lot of people don't feel the same way I do. They say, that's why I'm called toxic masculinity #1.
Ah.
That's why everybody calls me toxic masculinity #1.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with women. And I'm surprised because it has to do with the fact that I like physical contact. I don't mind if men fight. I don't think it's a big deal. If a dude making $30 million gets elbowed in the head and you got to give him 30 stitches costing $3, I don't care. To me, I got to at least see some blood to justify these dudes making $5 million a game in my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so cool. But getting back to the refereeing, I'll straight up say I knew that it was a sham job. They can't have a 4-game sweep. Basketball and football are the two sports where officials and referees can control the entire game. And not to get too deep, we don't know what the league says to these guys prior to these games because they do have meetings.
Yes,
And
they do.
what the hell are they talking about at these meetings? Is it what you did the last game, the flagrant you missed? No, it's setting a tone. That's why they say there's a script. It's not literal, but it exists. We noticed this, fellas.
Keep an eye out on it. You know.
Wemby doesn't have enough space to maneuver. It looks like the Knicks are fouling off the ball a bit too much. Keep an eye on it. We wouldn't want to sweep.
No.
That's a couple of less checks for you guys, a couple less checks for us, a couple less checks for everybody. So in the larger scheme of things, let's look out for those things, which resulted in, to me, clear disparity in how the fouls were distributed, how they were called. Problem was, Spurs had conceded the series, and that was clear because the Knicks sleptwalked through the first half and was still up by 5.
Right.
They sleptwalked through that first half. The referees gave Wemby that stimulus package. Stephen A. always talking about the one that the refs gave LeBron back with Cleveland, with Draymond. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, that's basically what it was. And they needed to give a stimmy last night. It was just enough. And the Knicks were just enough off kilter. And that's why I gotta not blame the refs. I have to, at the end of the day, blame Jalen Brunson. Because the game was winnable. He was playing under control, understanding what the team needed of him in the last 2 games and even the entire playoffs, not overshooting, allowing other guys to do their thing. Now you go to last night, I see 12 for 25 from the field,
Too many shots.
Not that, not the amount of missed, but then I'll go down the box score. You have OG Anunoby who shot 90% from the field last night, 9 of 12. He should have had 24 shots yesterday. When he's on like that, he's unguardable. When he is on, there's no one on the Spurs that can guard OG Anunoby when he's on. He's just not always plays at that level like a lot of NBA players. He's a guy that can play at an all-star. He reminds me of a Jimmy Butler.
Okay. Yeah, when he's hot, he's rolling.
When he's hot,
and you got to feed him.
He one of the best you ever seen being hot.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's not, he's not.
He's not.
But last night he could have been. Once Wemby got Brunson into Brunson's head, Brunson's mentality triggered. He forgot his role. He went back to schoolyard when the big dudes used to do that to him all the time. When the coaches used to doubt him. When people see him coming and laugh because they 6'8" and he's 6'1". Yeah. And he said, I have to win this game and get back at him. That's what I think happened. He forgot. There ain't a game in hell where we want you taking 25 shots anymore. This ain't the regular season. I want you to say, throw that ball back at Bridges. He give you the ball, chuck that shit back at him again like a real point guard do. Shoot that. You've seen it happen in high school, in college, when your top dog is a great player, but he's not a ball hog. He's you have to force him sometimes. Or one of your top to go and play. And that's what you got to do to Bridges. That's what you got to do to OG. Even Cattle, they'll just be like, all right, you got this, JB?
Yeah.
They not demanding the rock. None of those guys are of that ilk, right? Where they're like, ball, please. No, as a point guard, when they throw you that ball and you're getting triple team, throw it back at them and give them a stare. They give it back, throw that shit back at them again. Do what you're supposed to do, bro. That didn't happen. It was the Jalen Brunson show along with some terrible refereeing. You'll love the refereeing if you're the Spurs. You'll hate it if you're the Knicks. That's why these debates are always kind of funny because people don't debate sports anymore on the basis of really what's happening. It's about who they're rooting for.
It's all about their feelings. Yeah, it is.
And what they feel, right? So that's why Knicks blew game 3.
And I was in an anti-Knicks establishment rocking the colors, and folks were loving it. So, but all right, that's behind us. As I let you go, what do you make of Game 4? That is, I'm kind of conflicted right now because you made the point, and I think it's a valid one, that Wemby got in the head of Brunson at least, and perhaps now through the rest of the team. Who's got to step up for them to get a dub tomorrow night?
I need 30 points from Karl-Anthony Towns tomorrow night. I don't care about everybody else. I feel like everyone is playing on a championship level to what they're supposed to do for a championship. If you look at that box score, everybody was efficient, really, except Towns and Brunson. That's a game we should have won if you look at the box score.
It is.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Spurs is playing that well. I just know that eventually Castle was going to hit a 3. Fox is heating up.
Yeah.
He was always the X factor here. And he was asleep. I wish we could have stole this game last night.
Me too. And I'll tell you why. He's hurting. He's hurting. You know, he's got that leg injury right now, but he's been able to summon a will and be out there. And you can't give him any more credit than that. When's the last time he's been
in the finals? And when's the next time he'll be in the finals?
Right.
So as a pro, he's thinking legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really going to be remembered as anything other than a pretty good player if I don't contribute here. At least let's give myself a shot to hoist the trophy, right? Because he probably won't be back there next year, and if he is, he's not going to be a prominent part of the team. If his injuries, he's been fighting injuries now for half a decade almost. So it's getting, and he's just getting older. Still can play, but so I need 30 from Karl Anthony Towns, 15 rebounds. I need the game of his life. Like if you ever going to have the game of your life, now's the time, right? It's the NBA Finals. I don't care about what you've done dating back to Kentucky. I don't care about none of that.
That means nothing.
If you want to be able to walk these streets ever again, any of the guys on that Knicks team, y'all cannot blow this series. If the Knicks blow this 2-0 lead right here, they will lose permanently half of their fan base, Mark.
Wow.
I'm telling
Really?
you. I'm Mark Gray, I'm telling you. So game four, sorry,
Game
is the
four.
most important game in New York Knicks history since 73. And I know they've had some game sevens. I know that game seven in Houston where Starks shot us.
Out of the playoffs, out of the championship. Yes.
And I'll never forget that game because I was in Virginia at Old Dominion University working as an upward bound counselor around kids that all hated the New York Knicks. I was the only thing associated with New York them kids ever liked. And that taught me how deep the New York hate run.
It really is.
So I'm standing in a little lobby, bedtime at 10, game on, kids around, hating on, wanting the Knicks to lose. It was eerily similar to when I attended in the ninth grade the Mike Tyson Buster Douglas fight. I went to a school called Townsend Harris, which was 80% Jewish, white, whatever. That was my first high school. Greek. I'm friends with everybody, but me, my man Russell Long, my man Jason Vives, we were like the only black dudes in there. I transferred later on to play baseball, but it was a high academic schools, one of the highest academic schools in the country, actually, Townsend Harris High School in New York, if you look it up. And every last person in the house, and there was like 30 kids, it was a fight bar, like teenage, was cheering for Buster Douglas, except the three black dudes. It was weird. Them Titans got to go there. You know what I'm saying? It was weird. So that I just compared it to that and said, yeah, familiarity with those things. But getting back to the Knicks, bro, game 4, big from Towns. Simply put, 15 shots and less for Brunson, we win. More than 15 shots for Brunson, we lose. Let's put it out there. 30 or more points for Towns, we win. Less than 25 points for Towns. Less than 45% to 50% shooting from the field. He shot, I think, 39, 40% last night. We lose. I don't care. If the refs value out, bro, it is what it is. But I need you more aggressive on Wemby like the game 1 and 2. I'm going to also need some retaliation. Not like Marbury said, not obvious retaliation, but I'm going to need some retaliation because you can't let Wemby do that to Brunson. He could do that to Naz Reid. He can't do that to JB. There's got to be consequences for that. But we have to be very strategic with how we dispense that consequence and that revenge. If the Knicks lose game 4, it's 0-0. All of the momentum that was built in those first 2 games doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't. The Spurs have all the momentum, and now the NBA and the referees have all the incentive to just let Victor Wembanyama get that title like Magic and Kobe did. Because those are the 3 people he's competing with for youngest champion at that age. So I believe from what I saw, 22, 20, 20, whatever. So that's it, man. The Knicks are in trouble. But not because they can't beat the Spurs. Because of how basketball works, how energy works, how streaks and momentum work. They got to get the momentum back. Spurs totally stole it last night. Trump's totally stole it. The NBA stole it. The refs stole it. And Victor Wembanyama, not as young and dumb as people think.
Oh no, not naive at all. I
You
mean,
know what I'm
anybody who's
saying?
ever been to Paris knows that Paris is the New York of Europe, and there's certain places that you go down the alleyway and you
Oof.
could easily get
Ooh.
FAFO'd in a different accent.
London and Paris.
Yeah, well, that
There's places where you'd walk in New York and no one would bother you. See, that's the difference. There's certain places in the world, like certain places in Miami, where if you just a strange face, it's almost 100% certain you're either going to get robbed, approached, and if you escape, you're like assaulted or something because
something.
they don't do passes for strange faces. New York has calmed down tremendously. Why? Because you never know who you're assaulting in New York City,
That is true.
right? If I'm in certain parts of Miami, I ain't nobody. Whoever I'm assaulting ain't nobody that anybody could do anything for, right? Unless I know them. In New
Right.
York, you don't never know. It could be a dude worth 20 billion walking in some flip flop, dirty clothes, and a hole in his shirt, just smoke a half pound of crack. So he going back to his high
They
rise
go
in
back to his
Manhattan.
high rise.
Yeah.
I know people have done
Then
that.
then when you rob them, you finding out, oh damn, cousin the mayor, second cousin chief of police, third cousin VP at Bear Stearns, CEO at Uber, and you done for.
So my thing is, what do you make of the way Mondami handled things? I thought, he what immediately set up
He said,
watch
cool.
parties for his folk.
And Bryant is a hop, skip, and a jump from the city. So
Right.
he set up right outside the less than 100 feet beyond the border that they said people couldn't cross. And said, this is my city. That's the thing with the mayor. He don't want him coming in here knowing that they have a problem
Mm-hmm.
anyway, right? They're not cool. So it's a posturing. Trump showing them, you're a small fry to me. I'll just go talk to Dolan, who's worth 100 times more than you anyway, Mr. Mayor. Shut your whole city down. Teach you a lesson. This
Didn't
is
quite
my
work.
city. If any city is a city, if any city is, I say, this is my city, down Trump Field. So great job on Mandami, though, to hold his fort, hold his own, hold it down, show that he won't let down the city. Because at the end of the day, the people don't give a damn whether Trump was there or not. It's the energy and the influence and the way he disrupted a heavenly romantic situation that was
Moment.
going
Yep, he
on
did.
in New York. And I truly do believe, even though it sounds that if he wasn't at that game 3, if the energy wasn't different, you gotta remember, you took the Knicks players even out of their whole groove.
He did.
They had to go through TSH. They had to
Right.
go. The players
Right.
routine was thrown
And see
off.
that's my big point. I think when you get back to your routine, and every sport guys got their routine. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying? Unless you Jazz Chisholm, who needs to add stealing Aaron Judge's bat as
right.
a part of his routine these days.
Rare baseball player that has no routine. He switch it up when he need to.
He just does. He does. So
He,
is your gut
yeah.
telling you that game 4 goes the direction of the good guys, or is it heading back to Texas?
I don't know. I could speak with more certainty before this point. I thought I had a pulse on what was going on. I can't sit here and assertively tell you now that the Knicks are going to win game 4. I don't know. Because if the refereeing is similar or even worse, where they're totally ignoring calls, we're complaining all the time. Like the refs know they could throw us off. The refs threw us off. Then Wemby took out our leader.
Mm-hmm.
No one came to his defense.
Which I had a
And
problem with. I was like wondering there's this generation's Charles Oakley, but we know that the old school Oak can't get in the building
O can't
anymore,
even get right. O can't even get in the building. So
which is
and
ridiculous.
that's a whole nother story for
It
another
is.
day. How everybody abandoned him as if he wasn't one of the heart and so all of a sudden now Oakley ain't mean nothing. Oakley wasn't
Really,
that good a player, and he's
it's
just keeping it.
Dolan karma, man.
Yeah,
Dolan,
and he's
if
just
they
keeping
lose
it
Tim,
real about Patrick and them. Um, them ex players, they're all broke, Mark. So they stay close to the billionaire. They stay under his wing. They didn't spend their money right. They don't have as much money as you think. They often have to go to these guys for loans. So you don't understand. They got to go to the owner for Jerry Jones. I heard gives a lot of loans. Has paid for plenty in abortion. Has paid for plenty. No, I'm just speaking bluntly and
right,
honestly. Not
right.
paid for plenty in abortion. Played a lot of hush money for uh, other women, wives, and I heard all the stories. Right,
Mm-hmm.
even as far as allegedly paying off police or decision makers and things of that nature. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know, brother,
Wow,
what we'll do. I'm sorry
they've
I
got
can't give you
Jr.
a better
baffled.
answer, but I have no idea how the refereeing is going to be. And isn't it unfortunate that that's what a lot of sports has come down to now? We didn't talk about the refs all that much back in the day. We watched the game, but now with these challenges, every 5 seconds we got to go to the clock. It's not as bad as them
And
Euro games I
in-game
watched.
parlays. Let's be clear about that.
And then the betting.
That's my thing. Yes.
I
Because you know
mean,
the rights holder for the finals literally owns what is that? Is it DraftKings, FanDuel? It's one of them. You know, ESPN is in bed with one of those gambling parlors, which only is going to lead to a massive scandal at some point. I mean, you want to talk about insider information? Who gets better inside information than a reporter? I mean,
or a referee.
okay, you
And
know,
who has more control? And I don't care what you say, you could throw it out the window. Tim Donaghy exists. The book exists, the story book. I don't care how much you try to act like you oblivious to it. It's an egregious book. I read it. It's an egregious story.
it is.
He was a crook,
He was
and the league allowed it.
looking the other way. Now, at least now they've escalated to just go ahead and get in bed with companies who are
Yeah,
in bed
now
with
it's
the
just
gambling
like
part.
now it's like, yo, you ain't see that foul, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that one.
Huh? Oh yeah, my bad. I missed that one. You ain't. Oh, I missed that one too. But don't talk to me. Talk to him about this. I'm just a referee.
I'm just here to watch the game. That's what it's come to.
They give me the script. I do my job when I can.
And you know something really? I'm beginning to think that the NBA officials get paid per opportunity in front of the camera to explain calls that may have risen to the level of,
A
flagrant.
flagrant foul.
To me, flagrant, you know it. You don't need to see a replay of it.
And then him and Ha about maybe. Well, that's too much control for them. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be able to tell any more than I would. Because flagrant fouls are not something, assessing flagrant fouls is not something you learned in the referee textbook. It's not a rule of refereeing. It's not something that a referee would be able to detect more than me. Flagrant foul, you just have to have eyes. Now, moving